This brings me to the song My Hometown. At one point, towards the end of the song, there's a message from a father to a son who's
Right.
sort of looking around at this town that has been rocked by kind of racial strife and
Mhm.
economic disappointment. And you said that, he's telling a story that as an active player in this moment in time, you have some power to acknowledge some things. And it really struck me because this is a moment where right now you've got schools, for instance, trying to do this exact thing, right? Talk about racial history in a way that
Right.
involves accountability and acknowledgement, and it is being rejected, right, as critical race theory. It's being rejected by a lot of white parents, and it made me wonder, is the dad in your song a fiction? That dad who says, "Look around, you're a part of this too."
I don't think so. We are extensions of history, and that part of being an American is seeking to write and address where the country has gone wrong in the past, or our previous sins or trespasses. I think there's a lot of people who view the country like that and who are interested in making it a better place. I think what we're dealing with right now, and that is unique in our history, is that an entire political party has proven itself willing to lie about that history and what's taking place for their own political gain, and has preyed on the weaknesses of a large part of our voters and our citizenry, and fears of a changing country, a changing America. And we are living in incredibly challenging times as far as technological change, social change, economic change. That I think and people have feared their loss of status. But I think what you need at this moment is a kind of fighting optimism.
But maybe one thing
Yeah.
that Bruce and I share, his music, my politics, is the belief that people aren't static. I think America is proof that things are not static. So you're absolutely right that we go through moments of backlash. It's always happened. You can argue that there was a pretty strong backlash after I was elected.
I think we're still living in it.
So we've always seen those reactions, and there are going to be times because of that backlash, we get a sense of despair, a sense that we're stuck, that there's no way to move forward and escape this tragic loop that we have been in. And yet, as Bruce just described, and I like that phrase, sort of a fighting optimism, there are a whole bunch of parents who are also getting up and saying, no, this is something we need to learn about. This is something that is important. It wouldn't be a controversy 20 years ago or 30 years ago because nobody would even included these stories, and nobody would have thought of including a story about slavery or Jim Crow or the Black Codes in textbooks. I know because they weren't in my textbooks and they weren't in Bruce's, I guarantee you, in Freehold. So the very fact that we're even having the conversation in the school board about what stories are being told, whose stories are being told, that's an indicator of progress, not reversal. Now, you're going to lose some fights there, but there are also going to be some places where people go, I didn't think of that. Maybe we should rethink how we tell this story about who we are and what we're about. And part of, I think, what our podcast and this book has been about is reminding people that it's always been bumpy. It's always been contradictory. And yet, there have been moments of real awakening and progress.